2K has been around for exactly 20 years, and there's been about 1,000 NBA players to come and lead the league in that time. I've always wondered, I am the rating channel, right? I talk about ratings all the time. I've talked about the best players of all time, rating-wise at least, like Shaq being 100 overall, but who's the worst ever? Like literally, where can we find the ratings of the lowest ever and make a top 10 list? I've done that today. Get pasa to the pack. It is Pack here.
AKA your mama's best friend.
Before this video starts, please be an OG, join the pack, and subscribe. Trust me, this channel needs it. Please join up, okay? So, here is my situation, right? You're gonna notice a lot of these are from 2K12, 11, and 10, because for whatever reason, that was at a time where 2K was really giving people like over-exaggerated ratings, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to start off at number 10, and it is Ian Mahinemi, or Ian Mahinemi, however you want to pronounce it. Okay, so he was a 46 overall in 2K12 on the Dallas Mavericks, a team that won the championship the year before. It's crazy because not only was Ian Mahinemi on that championship winning team, he played in the finals, and he didn't even do bad in the finals. Yeah, I mean, he was kind of a defender. He could make easy buckets, and then later on in his career, I feel like Ian Mahinemi was actually not bad at all. Like, I think later on, he was like a 75 overall for the Knicks, I think. So, Ian Mahinemi was not a bad NBA player, but at the time, he averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds. I mean, he was only playing like 8 minutes a game, so what do you want from him? But his field goal percentage, 56% as a center, really isn't that bad. So I do think that this is probably the most disrespectful rating out of everybody. I have no clue why he had a 46. That's way too low. In comparison, I think there's like one player in 2K, like 21, that's like a 55, maybe? So yeah, that's really low. At number 9 on the list, we have DJ Mabang, who was, if you remember, on the championship winning Lakers twice, but memorably here, 45 overall on the Hornets for NBA 2K12. This guy was mostly known for his defense. That's why he was in the league. He was actually a very solid defender, a 2-time champion for the Lakers, as I said. He only averaged 1.4 points, 2 rebounds. He shot 47% from the field, but he had 0.7 blocks in the very few minutes that he played. Again, even though 45 is really low, I think that that's a little too low for this man. He was more of a defender, and that should have been represented in the rating itself. I'm not saying he was good at offense, because he wasn't, but I think, again, 45, kind of low for DJ, but understandable. At number 8 on the list, we have Jason Collins. He was a center on the Hawks. He played for a lot of different teams. 45 overall, right, just like DJ Mabang. 2K12 as well. He averaged 2 points, 2 rebounds, 48% for the field. 48% for a center is not good, by the way, so don't be like, that's not that bad. It is bad for a center. It is. Yeah, I mean, he's actually a pretty famous NBA player. He was the first ever gay NBA player, at least that announced that he was gay, right? So, I mean, he is popular. He's known, but as an NBA player, wasn't that great. Never was. I remember him specifically on the Nets. He didn't play that much on the Nets either. He just had a long career of not really playing much, and that was kind of his career, right? At number 7, I'm going to be honest, a player that I've never heard of, but until today, Dexter Pittman. He was on the Miami Heat in 2K12, a 44 overall, okay? I believe he was on the championship winning teams, but he didn't play because like he was only on the team for like 3 games, so not a really popular NBA player at all. The season, the last time he actually did play, he like actually played, by the way, not like played 3 games. He averaged 3 points per game, 1 rebound, 47% for the field, just whatever numbers. In my opinion, at least looking at his stats, 44 overall, maybe one of the worst players of all time. Maybe he really does deserve to be on this list. He was not great. Now at number 6 on this list, we have Steve Novak. I know, what the heck? He was on the Spurs. He was a 43 overall in 2K12. That's crazy. That's nuts. This is one of the best shooters ever, right? I mean, he was a role player, like a hard role player. He was never like this amazing player. The year after he goes on the Knicks, he has a breakout season and has the best shooting field goal percentage in the league from 3. So this was the season before he broke out, but still, I'm really shocked that his rating is so low in this game, especially when you're a specialist like a 3-point shooter. That's crazy. So at number 5 on the list, we have Kyrillo Fasenko on the Utah Jazz, 43 overall in NBA 2K12. You know, I'll say his stats first. 2 points per game, 3 rebounds, 0.7 steals, 40% from the field. Not great numbers, but he also didn't play a lot. I mean, actually, he did have one season where he kind of played and still put up the similar numbers, and he was playing like 11 minutes a game. So he's actually not very good, but he was in free agency for NBA 2K 13, 14, 15, 16, and even 17. So he was in that free agency for a long time, and he was a young player at the time. And I would use him to add him on to my NBA teams and my league teams. And he was a demon. He was a demon. And I remember his bronze card in 2K, I think 14 or 15, was low-key really good. So that's all I remember him for. On the Jazz, wasn't that great. At number 4 on the list, we have a pretty famous name, Alexis Ajinka. He played for 2 teams, and in these 2 different games, he was a 43 overall. In NBA 2K 11 and 12, where he was on the Mavericks and the Raptors, he was a 43 overall. Really low and really ridiculous, because Alexis Ajinka on the Pelicans was a very important player for 5 years straight. So really crazy low rating for somebody who was actually kind of important in the NBA. I think it's unfair. At the time, he was only averaging 4 points, 2.3 rebounds, 0.6 blocks, 44% from the field. So obviously not good numbers at the time, but immediately later on, he was pretty good. I think that's a ridiculously low rating for somebody that was pretty important to NBA teams. At number 3, these next 3 are pretty bad. So it's Jerome James on the Knicks from NBA 2K 10, and he was a 42 overall. He was like easily the worst player in the game at the time in 2K 10. Okay, so the last season that he actually played like minutes, he averaged 2 points, 1.6 rebounds on 42% from the field. As a center, that is horrible. Not only that, he's pretty famous for being out of shape. He was one of the heavier NBA players ever, and not muscle heavy like Shaq for a lot of the years. I'm talking about heavy, right? This was a guy that was basically unfit for the NBA, and I'm surprised he lasted in the NBA as long as he did, because he didn't put up the numbers, he wasn't physically ready, and yet he was on teams for a while, so that's crazy. At number 2 on the list, we have OKC player Byron Mullins, okay? He was a 40 overall. I don't even know if you could drop, like a 40 overall is like when you make your my player in 2K and don't put any attributes on him yet. That's how low a 40 overall is. So he's literally a base 2K player, okay? In NBA 2K 12, at the time he was averaging 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 32% from the field. 32% as a center that might be the worst field goal percentage from a center ever, like ever. Yeah, Byron Mullins, the only thing I can give him is that he was a British NBA player, right? One of the very few, and he played for the national team for a couple times. So I mean, Byron Mullins was not like a bad basketball player, but as an NBA player, statistically, that might be the worst ever. But at number 1 is somebody that you already know. You probably already predicted it. Brian Scalibrini, 40 overall on the Chicago Bulls, 2K12. He was also 42 overall on the Celtics the year before. NBA champion, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. We already know about him. But no, Brian Scalabrini, statistically, 1 point, 0.8 rebounds, 47% from the field as a power forward. Not great. He's always been a meme. But people forget, Brian Scalabrini has had some pretty good games on this list. In fact, he has one of the more accomplished NBA careers out of anybody on this list besides like maybe Steve Novak, Mahinemi, and Ajinka. Yeah, like Brian Scalabrini, when he played for the Nets, had like a 30-something point game in the playoffs and won him a game. I remember like at 1 point. So he was not a terrible NBA player, even though he's considered the worst ever. The worst NBA player ever will still drop any of us, right? Like 1v1. So still, I mean, 40 overall, pretty bad rating, but he did go. That's it for this video. What do y'all think about the lowest rated players in NBA history or 2K history? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub, and I'll see you guys next time.